Today, I'll share with you 4 common mistakes every new Roblox developer makes. Starting off, poor scripting practices. Now, most developers, especially new developers, have some trouble with actually inefficient code or unclear logic, like confusing code or code that you look back on and kind of cringe at. I'll show you an example of that right now. So we have the first line of code here. It says local yes equals false and local no equals true, which both of those by their variable names don't make sense. You know, like no equals false usually and yes equals true. That's how we know things. That's how things are usually done. But in this example, they're not done that way. And it's confusing to you and also probably you in the future. So let's not do that. Now moving on to mistake number 2 that I see happen often is faulty organization. And what I mean by faulty organization is having a script or a game, in a sense, that everything is not organized, everything is in different folders, different models, different places, and you want things to look listed, you want things to look as easily accessible as possible. Another way to organize your project and prevent the faulty organization, like we mentioned before, is to separate the game's parts and children that are in the game into folders that are easily readable and easily obtainable, accessible, so forth. So we see the parts here. We have a parts folder, we have the red parts, and we have the blue parts. And we have a world folder that contains everything a part of the world. And we have the spawn location outside of everything, so we can easily access the spawn location without having to dig within the other folders and such. Now, moving on to common mistake done, number 3. Overcomplicating designs. Now, overcomplicating designs, it's a hard one because you never really know if you're overcomplicating a design unless you're overcomplicating the design. So if you're stressing too much about it, or if you're trying to put too much work into the final product, even though you're in the prototyping phase, and we don't want that. We want to simplify our designs before fully committing to one and make prototypes. I cannot stress that enough. So in order to best explain this to you, I'll go back a while down my Roblox image screenshot history. As we see on the left, we see a game that's just the bare minimum, that's quite rough around the edges, but gets the job done and actually conveys what I want the game to be. And if we look on the right, it is a more fleshed out design and final product looking. Now, moving on to the final mistake I see done by many new developers. Number 4, neglecting originality. Now, neglecting originality is 2 big words that probably just went right over your head, but what I mean by them is there are over millions upon millions of games on this platform. And if you neglect originality, which means just copy another game and just run with that, you don't want that. You don't want your game to blend with another game. You want your game to be a fresh, new concept, or you want your game to stand out amongst the rest. You don't want them to blend with another, because if you blend with another, well, it's not really your work, is it? It's just another's, but just some new paint on top. It's the same wall, but just a new coat of paint. So we don't want that. What we want is take the concept, make it your own. That's what I'm trying to say here. When you scroll through the Roblox games page, you see a bunch of games that look similar, but are quite different if you actually took the time to play them. And that's what originality means. That's what taking a concept and making it your own really means. There are a bunch of Squid Game games listed on here that you can play, but if you went in and played each one, you would see that they're quite different. You can actually tell by the player bases. Some games are popular, some games are less popular, and I promise you, your originality will be seen by the players. I promise you that. And that's all the 4 common mistakes I see developers, especially new ones, make to this day. Hopefully that helped. See ya.